Hey, thanks for watching Family Mission today, and thank you for being a missionary to your world. Hey, we count it a privilege and an honor to come to you in these videos and just bring encouragement, bring inspiration to you, and certainly we want to equip you to be that missionary. We don't want you to accept that as a burden or some one more thing you have to do or one more thing you have to be. No, it is the privilege of what we get to do as Christians. We get to shine. The world needs to see Jesus. And yes, there's the opportunity week after week when we gather in worship services to have a time where we worship God together, and yes, people will come into those services and people seeking God, people seeking answers, but there's thousands and millions of people who will never make it through those doors, and yet they need the privilege to see Jesus. They need the opportunity to see Him. And how else will they see Him unless we live a brand new life, unless our life looks different than someone without Christ in their life, without the hope of the gospel, without a transformed heart and belief and perspective, without having a brand new reason for living and that opportunity to shine. So again, we want to come to you each week, and today I want to talk about love. The Bible says God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever would believe in Him would have everlasting life. And I go at a little bit of a risk talking about love, because love is such a word that's really misunderstood and overused. You know, we talk about a great movie we saw and we say, man, I just love that movie, it was awesome. And then we go have a wonderful meal and we share the restaurant with somebody, say, go check it out, you'll love it. And then we go to church on Sunday and we raise our hands and we say, God, we love you. And then we quote John 3:16 and we say, God, you so loved the world that you gave your only begotten Son. And this word love just gets thrown into a bag of experiences, and it sometimes, I think, loses the impact that it can have when we're wanting to communicate the gospel into people's lives, because everybody has their own definition of love. Everybody has their own experience with love. They've been betrayed and hurt by people who said they loved them. They've been let down and rejected and abandoned by people who said they loved them. And then we ourselves, we look in the mirror and we know, man, I don't even like myself sometimes, and yet we wonder, how can God love me? Why did He give His Son for me? Why such a high price for this? You know, this quandary, this confusion that gets in our heart sometimes and gets mixed up with that word love, we have to understand what this is all about. Why did He stretch out those arms? Why did He pay such a high price? Well, I think it's a key, perhaps, could be in the words that He said when He did it. He said, Father, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. In other words, He saw something that we didn't see. He had a view, He had a perspective on our life that we sometimes and many times don't have. And that's why sometimes His love is such a mystery. How could He love us? Why would He do this? I mean, look at all the sin I've done. Look at all the wrong I've done. Look at how I miss it again and again and again. And I cycle in these destructive behaviors and these attitudes and these motives. Why would He pay for my life? And why would He say those words? I don't know what I'm doing. I knew what I was doing. I did that. Eyes wide open, I did what I did. What does He mean? I don't know what I'm doing. What it means is simply this. He saw something in our lives. He saw something about our lives that we have not yet discovered. And that's what the gospel gives people an opportunity to experience. They get a chance to see the value of their life. And like the prophet Jeremiah, God spoke about him. Jeremiah, he said, I knew you before you were in your mother's womb. I knew you before you knew you. I knew you before anything happened to you. I knew you before your life went in any direction, in any way, before any experiences. I knew you. And that's the truth about every soul on this planet. God knows them, and He knew them from the beginning. The Bible says there's a time to be born, and here we are. Here you are. Here they are. And so God knows that every life is on purpose. He gave birth to every life that has come. Even if, like my life, I wasn't a, quote, planned pregnancy, and yet God planned me. And maybe your story is the same way. Maybe your life wasn't planned. Maybe your life was an accident or maybe a mistake. But it's no mistake with God. And so this perspective becomes so important. If we're going to be a missionary to our world, we have to see people not by what they've been through, not by the color of their skin, not by their education, not by how they speak, how much money they have or don't have, whether they can benefit you or not. We have to see people like God sees them if we're going to begin to reach out and be that missionary. So I just wanted to bring that perspective to you today and just remind you that God sees you, God knows you, He knew you from the beginning, and that's what He died for, to see that redeemed, to see that come alive again, and then to get sin off of us so that we could see who we were from the beginning, who we were created to be. We were made in the image of love. We were made for the purpose of love. So let's raise up and let's take up this mission of love, and let's be a missionary to our world. Thanks for watching today. Thanks for sharing this video, and we just call you blessed today. God